Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special webinar on Certified Global FP&A Professional. So what is CGFPA? So we'll explain to you in some time. So what we are trying to do today is discuss a little bit about FP&A as a career, why it is becoming important, and how you can equip yourself with FP&A skills. We'll also share some information about FP&A Professionals Institute, which Asif and I have co-founded recently. While we have been conducting FP&A training programs over the last 3 years, we thought a dedicated institute for FP&A professionals would be the right next step to help students and professionals master FP&A skills. So we'll also talk about the CGFPA program. So it's a 6-month certification program. We'll share some details about it. When does it start? What is the eligibility? What are its benefits? We'll talk about the CGFPA program. And finally, we can take any questions that you might have generally about your FP&A career or about the CGFPA program that that we are presenting to you. So it's going to be a short session. So for those of you who don't know us, my name is Dhaval Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. I've also completed my 1-year general management program from IIM Ahmedabad. Over the last 15 years, I've worked in diverse sectors like oil and gas, software, advertising and PR services, commodity trading. I'm also the co-founder and lead faculty at FP&A Professional Institute. I've mentored more than thousands of chartered accountants and finance professionals to a lot of initiatives. Often, they also mean one-to-one calls, spending time with them to help them get to their next level in their careers. Over the last 4 years, I've been an active online instructor, and I've trained more than 5,000 professionals on various topics, primarily related to finance, finance leadership, FP&A, finance for non-finance, and career coaching in general, right? So that's about me. I have my partner, Asif Masani here, who's also the co-founder and lead faculty at FPI. Asif?
Thank you, Dhaval. I'll also quickly introduce myself. So I am also a chartered accountant from India. About 14 years of corporate experience before we went into this full-time earlier this year, so about 4 months back. I worked across banking, pharma, and edtech, worked with companies like EY, Citibank, Pfizer, and most recently I was the head of FP&A for APAC India at Coursera. Now I am the lead faculty, one of the faculties at FPI, which is FP&A Professionals Institute. I regularly write on LinkedIn, so you must have known me from my LinkedIn posts, LinkedIn articles. So I'm a regular writer, contributor at a lot of FP&A forums like FP&A Trends, Finance Alliance, and a lot more. Also, 2 years back, I had published a book, which is one of the best sellers in the management accounting category, which is all about FP&A. So that is a little bit about myself, and we'll hear more about how how me and Dhaval came together in one of the next slides that we have.
Fantastic. So, yeah, fantastic. So I want to talk about a little bit about FP&A as a career, right? So if you look at a CFO's office, there are 2 broad responsibilities that a CFO has, right? One is to ensure all the compliances are in place, whether it is accurate accounting, submitting all the taxes, tax returns, getting publishing the financial statements, getting the statutory audit done, internal audit done, SOX audit. All of these things are compliance responsibilities of the CFO. The other primary responsibility of the CFO is to ensure that the business is running in a commercially sound way, right? So this is where your analysis about revenues, gross margins, pricing, budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, decision support, capital budgeting analysis, cash flow forecast, all of these kind of different activities come into the commercial bucket of things, right? So these are the 2 broad responsibilities of the CFO. Now, most of us, if we are coming from a typical accounting qualification like a CA, CMA, CPA, or we might have done our graduation or post-graduation in finance and accounting, we start mostly with a compliance-oriented role. We are starting with accounting roles or roles which are largely focused on preparation of financial statements or preparation of data, accounting, and the background stuff. And then as and when we become senior, our role starts getting blended. We'll get more involved in commercial aspects as well. Okay. And larger the company, more individual your role could be. So you might start with a commercial role directly. Okay. But if it is a small to medium enterprise, then your role could be pretty blended, right? So where you might also have compliance aspects in your responsibility as well as commercial aspects in your responsibility. Now, most of us who come from a CA, CPA, ACCA kind of a background, we are fairly exposed to the compliance part. We know how balance sheets, financial statements, cash flow, notes to accounts, all of these things are prepared. Okay. But the commercial side of things is something which is experiential learning. Okay. Back 15 years ago, when Asif and I started in the FP&A function, we had absolutely no sources to learn from. There were no books, there were no courses, there was no LinkedIn, right? Nothing was available. The only option that we had was to ask a senior as to, hey, what's the budget? How is it done? And if he's in a good mood, he will explain to us. Otherwise, we'll have to figure it on our own, make our own mistakes, and then learn it. But today, fortunately, we live in a age where you can find literally a coach for every element. You have a speaking coach, you have a career coach, you have trainers. Literally, you can find a coach for every aspect that is available out there today. In this process, we thought that training courses on FP&A is a necessity now. Okay. Also, some of the recent trends I would like to talk about is that we did a survey with CFOs, and interestingly, 85% of the CFOs said that they find it really difficult to find the right FP&A talent in the market, right? And you might have seen the job posts. Almost everybody asks for experience, but there aren't enough experienced professionals for FP&A, right? So there has to be some alternative ways where people equip themselves with FP&A and then start their FP&A careers. The other interesting fact that came up was that 85% of the CFOs are willing to invest in their staff to learn FP&A, which means they want to coach them, train them on FP&A, they want to sponsor programs. And these were some of the positive results that came out of our FP&A survey that we conducted with CFOs. Right? So this is what I wanted to highlight about our FP&A career. So where have we been with FP&A Professionals Institute so far? So back in 2018, that was about nearly 6 years ago, I started with my first course, that is FP&A Foundations, which is available on our portal and also on Udemy. And it has crossed more than 2,000 students on Udemy. And this was one of the foundations. This was like a pilot course that I did for 2.5 hours is what it takes to complete this course, and it got great responses. And when we progressed on teaching FP&A, so I was doing some workshops here and there. And then in 2022, at that time, Asif was writing his book, and he published his book all about FP&A, which has now become a bestseller, 2,000 plus copies sold, and a bestseller on Amazon in the category. If you still haven't ordered for that book, please go and order it right away. It was in 2022 that Asif and I came together, and we thought that, hey, why not start an FP&A course together? Anyhow, it's a very vast area for a single person to take everything or teach everything. So why not come together and start our course? So that's when we started our live program, which was FP&A Masterclass, which is a 4 weeks live program on Saturdays and Sundays, 2 hours each, right? So that's what we started. And it progressed from there. So currently we are running the 10th batch of FP&A Masterclass. And now most of the students, more than 300 to 400 students who took our self-paced courses, they came back and said that, why not launch a bigger course, or why not train us in other areas? So that's when we progressed in 2023. As if you want to cover this quickly.
Yeah, let me talk about the FP&A Launchpad. So after starting the FP&A Masterclass, after doing like 3 or 4 batches in mid of 2023, we realized that a lot of people could not join our live programs because of, I mean, there could be many reasons. Some reasons could be they are busy with work, they are in different time zones. So I remember people in Australia, people in Africa joining our batches at 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, staying up late in night. So we decided we will create a self-paced version of our program, which is the 8 weeks FP&A Launchpad. We started this in somewhere in 2023, mid 2023, and we have had more than 200 students take this program as well, which was well received. Along with other programs that we started in 2023. So a lot of people who took the FP&A Masterclass and FP&A Launchpad, they came back and told us we need specific guidance on 2 particular topics. One was financial modeling, specifically for FP&A. So there are a lot of courses on financial modeling for valuation, for investment banking, for private equity. Those are focused on valuations not focused on internal decision making or FP&A. So that's when we came up with the financial modeling for FP&A program in August or September 2023. And simultaneously, we were working with a couple of other instructors because a lot of people asked for Power BI because Power BI is a skill in demand. So those were the two other programs we launched in 2023. And at present in 2024, uh, we are now going to do the first cohort of the in-depth 6-month certification program, which is a FP&A professional. I mean, the first in-depth certification program we have at FP&A Professional Institute, which is Certified Global FP&A Professional, or we call it as CGFPA. And along with that, I am also done with writing my second book, which is Accounting to FP&A, from Accounting to FP&A, which will publish soon next month. So this is what we are doing most recently.
Fantastic. And so that's why we are here today to discuss a little bit more about our CGFPA program, which is Certified Global FP&A Professional Program. So at FP&A Professionals Institute, we have courses for all levels. At the beginner level, we have our FP&A Foundations course, the 8 weeks FP&A Launchpad, which is a self-paced course. We have also got some recordings on, we also did some sessions on how to prepare an impactful resume, how do you prepare for the interview, even if you have not worked in FP&A before. So those sessions are available at beginner levels. At intermediate levels, you have the FP&A Masterclass, which is our flagship 4 weeks live coaching program. We have courses on financial modeling and Power BI, which are also at the intermediate levels. And now a lot of people who took our beginner and intermediate levels, they came up with the feedback and said that we need to learn more. Or can you help us with X? Or can you help us with Y? Can you also help us with financial analysis? Can you also help us with data analytics? All of these kind of feedbacks came to us, and we saw that, okay, I think this is the right time to launch an advanced program. That's when we launched our Certified Global FP&A Professionals program. So what is CGFPA program? So it's a 6-month comprehensive program, which also has examination, which also has capstone, all of those things. And I'll cover a little bit more in detail. But primarily, it's a global certification in FP&A. Okay, and you can directly learn from CFOs and FP&A leaders. It's not only Asif and me. So we have got expert instructors from various fields, from various accomplished leaders, some experts in digital transformation, some experts in tools, some experts in various sectors. So they're all coming in as faculty for this program. It has 10 comprehensive modules, and we'll talk about these modules in a little bit on the next slide. It covers a whole range of FP&A work profile that you can imagine. Experiential sessions and stimulations. If you know our teaching style, it's always experiential. We always focus on practical aspects. So it's not going to be theory at all. So, and it's not going to be easy at all. So I would suggest that, if you are willing to put in the hard work, at least for 4 hours a week, 2 hours live session on every Saturday, and 2 hours of self-paced study, or, pre-reading, or any of the case studies or videos that we will give you, then you should commit yourself for CGFPA program, because in the classroom we are trying to make it as experiential as possible through group discussions, through activities, through role plays, and much more. You'll be part of our global alumni network. The existing FPI students are also based across the globe, and you will be part of this alumni network as well. We will also have sessions with personalized career coaches. It could be Asif or me or any of our expert career coaches that were on board with us, and you can take any personalized session to help you craft your own career path. Placement support, everything related to your resume review, your LinkedIn profile review, helping you with mock interviews, all of that will be provided by the institute as well under this program, right? And let me just clarify here, it is not a placement guarantee, but it is placement support. While we'll give you every support that is required for you to crack the interview, for you to prepare an impactful resume, in the background, what I can tell you is that I'm also working with a lot of CFOs and recruiters and headhunters to try and get some acceptability for CGFPA program, right? So that's where we are working in the background to spread awareness about CGFPA program as well. Access to monthly Q&A sessions. Asif and I will be available for you, during these monthly Q&A sessions, or any of your expert instructors will be available, and you can ask your questions directly to them. External speaker sessions, we have already been conducting 1 session a month, and it will only increase, and you will get to understand from industry experts, technology providers. A lot of expert speakers are expected to come as part of the ongoing learning programs as well. right? You'll have access to all the online materials, resources, and tests. And everything will be hosted on the portal. It'll be very seamless access, and you'll have that access or any updates that come in the future batches as well. So that's about CGFPA program, right? What are some of the modules that we're covering in the CGFPA program? So, Asif, you want to cover some of
Yeah,
the modules?
I'll cover the first few modules, and then you can maybe do the second half of it.
Yeah.
So, uh, what you see on the slide are the 10 modules we have in store for the CGFPA program. And on the left side, you will see modules related to budgeting, forecasting. So, what we will be doing in these modules is we'll be giving you raw data, and we'll be giving you instructions in a case study format, and you will be expected to prepare a budget from scratch. So going from step one, so we'll guide you along the way. What are the 10 different steps to prepare a budget and a forecast? And we'll give you the raw data. We'll give you a simulated environment where you will have to then implement all of those steps that we have already covered in the foundation level. So you'll have to first go through the foundation level. We'll give you that as a part of pre-reading if you've not participated, or if you've not done any of our FP&A masterclass or 8 weeks FP&A launchpad, so that you are in the same point as other candidates. Once you do that, in the CGFPA sessions, we will be doing the live case studies that I mentioned. Same goes with management reporting. So in 8 weeks FP&A masterclass, we have covered about 10 different types of, in the FP&A masterclass and the 8 weeks FP&A launchpad, we have covered more than 10 different types of management reports, where we have shared with participants the format of those reports along with templates. Here in CGFPA, we'll go one step further. We'll give you the raw data, and we'll give you the templates, and then we'll ask you to prepare those reports, and we'll evaluate those reports. So if you notice, comparing FP&A masterclass or 8 weeks FP&A launchpad to CGFPA, a lot of work will be required from your end. We'll be giving you the data, we'll be giving the instructions, but only way you learn these or the best way to learn these skills are when you implement it yourselves and when you practice it yourself. So that is what we are going to do in the budgeting, forecasting, management reporting module. Financial modeling, again, we do have a base curriculum, which is the financial modeling for FP&A. For those who have taken that curriculum, they will be at a good starting point. For those who have not, we will ask you to go through that curriculum. And then when we come in the CGFPA live sessions, we'll ask you to do a lot of practical examples with us. So we'll again give you some simulated case studies, examples on best practices for, where you follow the best practices for financial modeling, and come up with your own models, that those skills then you can take it back to your office or your organization.
So as FP&A professionals, you will always be dealing with a lot of data, complex set of data. So that's why we are introducing a module which says Introduction to Data Analytics. So we are giving you basics of how to analyze data, and also some important tools like SQL and Power BI. We are covering those tools as well. Are we going to make you an expert in Power BI and SQL? Absolutely no. That's not the intention of this program. But if you have absolutely no idea about working in Power BI and SQL, so we will take you to a level where you will be able to have solid foundations. You will be able to work with these tools and then build on top of that experience as well. Financial analysis, all different kind of ratios like liquidity ratios, solvency ratios. How do you analyze the company's financial health? All of that will be covered in financial analysis modules. Storytelling and presentation. So those of you who have taken the masterclass, how important storytelling and presentation is. It's all about communicating with non-finance staff, where we'll be discussing a lot of charts, chart types, dashboards, how to build your strong narrative, presentation skills. Everything will be covered in the storytelling and presentation module. Strategy module, which has a lot of strategic elements, because in FP&A professionals, you often interact with senior professionals, right? It could be your business head, or it could be your CEO, it could be your CFO, and they come from a strategic angle. So they have a big picture mindset, and they come from a strategic angle. So knowing these strategic concepts and how do you link with FP&A will help you understand the requirements of your senior management as well. Business partnering is all about how you collaborate with collaborate with non-finance teams. See, they don't understand 10,000 lines of Excel sheets like how we do. How you truly collaborate, how you become a value creator in your business. So that is what is that is what is covered in the business partnering module. So all in all, a comprehensive program that covers 10 different modules, okay, and which cuts across the range of FP&A activities and roles and responsibilities that you can imagine. Yeah. Now, what is the eligibility criteria for enrolling into CGFPA course? Is it for everybody? Not really, right? So the eligibility that we have kept is very simple: a bachelor's degree or a global equivalent in finance, accounting, and business. Yeah, finance, accounting, and business. Or you might have a professional qualification like a CA, CMA, CPA, ACCA, CIMA, whatever that professional qualification is, right? So if you are having one of these two, then you're eligible to apply for CGFPA program. Now, what happens after you apply for the CGFPA program? What happens during the course? How is the certificate awarded? So here are some details about it, right? So there are two things for you to be eligible for the examination. So at the end of the 6-month program, there will be an examination, and you will have to objective type examination. So you will have to attend that examination as well. To be eligible to attend that examination, you will have to attend the live online classes at least 50%. At least 50% of the live online classes needs to be attended. And you also have to submit your assignment or capstone that we provide. Right? Once you are able to submit these two, you will be eligible to sit for the CGFPA program and then a CGFPA examination. And after you complete the CGFPA examination, you will be awarded the CGFPA certificate. Right? Now, there are always some questions that we get. What is the time commitment required for CGFPA program? So we understand that in most cases, this could be taken by working professions, right, or executives, or who are working, who have already a busy lifestyle. So what we have done is we have kept it very bite-sized. Okay, all it requires is a commitment of about 4 hours a week. 2 hours will be self-paced, but during the week we will share with you some pre-reading materials or videos or any of the assignments that we give you, and you'll have to complete them and then come to the live class. And the live class will be on every Saturday for 2 hours. That's it, right? So 4 hours of commitment for the next 6 months is all we expect in terms of your time commitment. The second question is that what would be the fee investment required in the program? So the fee investment could range anywhere between $1,295 to $1,495. Depending on when you enroll, there are some early bird offers going on at this point in time. There are some offers for our existing alumni. So all of those things, considering that, your investment could range anywhere between $1,295 to $1,495. In INR terms, it ranges between, I would say, 110,000 to 140,000. Yeah, so that's the range
It's
that you
125.
can expect.
So 110 to 125, yes.
That's the range that you can expect. We have also given you a payment plan facility that after you reserve your seat, that you make your initial payment, the balance fee can be paid in 5 easy installments. Okay, and you can avail that facility as well at literally very minimal cost, right? So that's what we have made it very convenient for. If this program was available, or if this had come to me 10, 12 years ago, I would be the first one to take this. So that's my perspective. But again, I can guarantee you that this will be the best investment. If you still have 15, 20 years of your career ahead of you, then this can be the best investment that you can make. Yeah. What are the other questions, Asif, that we normally get?
Yeah, I'll take the question in the chat box. So CGFPA recognized by any international body? So as of now, no. This is the first cohort, so we want to be very transparent about this. Although we have been running training programs for the last, Dhaval has been doing it for 5 years. I have been doing it for last 2.5 years. This is the very first cohort of CGFPA that we are doing. So this is the first batch of CGFPA, and all the process is that are required to get those approvals for NASBA credits, for CPE credits. We all have we have all those processes in I mean, those steps are in progress. They take a lot of time, and they usually don't grant those approvals until and unless you've shown that you've done the first batch and you have established program running successfully. So all that will happen eventually in the next 6 to 8 months. So by the time you are, and we're not promising this, so this is what we are working towards, and this is probably one of the most important things in our KPIs as well. So we will do everything possible to get international recognition from Indian institutes as well. All that work will be in happening in the background while you take the certification. Although we don't guarantee any outcomes, but we will put our best efforts to make sure that we get international recognition and recognition from Indian bodies, especially on the CPE credit side. So CPE credits for Indian CA Institute and NASBA credits for CPE, which happens in the US and Canada. So those are the two which process. I mean, the process is a tedious process. It's a 3 month process where they ask you to submit a lot of things, a lot of forms, which process will happen simultaneously as we go through the first cohort. And we are expecting that to happen by the end of this year for sure. So as of now, no, there is no any. It is FPI is a private institute. It's a private body. It is not recognized by any of the accounting bodies as of now. So there's a comment. There is an institute who provide financial modeling certificate like AFM. How would it be different from that? So Pratik, AFM, which is Financial Modeling Institute. So it's a FMI institute, which is Financial Modeling Institute. They are specifically focused on financial modeling as a skill. So they are focused on financial modeling only. So you will become an expert financial modeler if you do AFM and then you do MFM. While our certification, which is the CGFPA, it is focused on FP&A as a whole, which is internal decision making and working in CFO's office. So that is the focus of our certification, and financial modeling is one of the part of it. So while if you want to focus solely on financial modeling, which if that is your goal, then AFM or MFM would be a better
Yeah,
option because that
I think
focuses solely on financial modeling.
I think the question is also in terms of the structure, Asif. So
Yeah.
imagine FPI is very similar to FMI, right? Just that
Yes.
we are just not focusing on financial modeling, but we are focusing on the entire gamut of FP&A.
Yes. Yes. And there are other private institutes who does that, right? So there is FMVA certifications from CFI. So they are also a private institute, and they also have very good programs. So this one, consider it very specific niche focused on FP&A. One of the other questions I get, especially a lot of people here are from alumni from FP&A Masterclass and 8 weeks FP&A Launchpad. So how is it going to be different from the course that you have already taken, the program that you have already taken? So consider that as your starting point. So anybody who has not taken those programs will have to undergo that curriculum in some way or the form, so which we will share as a pre-reading material. So CGFPA program is not going to be a duplicate or a overlap of what you have already done, but it will build on what you have already done. So that masterclass or 8 weeks FP&A Launchpad, which you have taken whatever 6 months back or 8 months back or 2 years back, that is going to be the starting point, and we'll go more in depth in each of the 5 modules that were on the left hand side in the previous slide. So we'll go a lot in depth where we will make you do things and we'll evaluate your budgets, your forecast, so that you get hands-on experiential practice learning. And then you have 5 new modules on the right, which Dhaval covered, right? So there are 5 modules which were already part of FP&A Masterclass, or 4 modules which were already part of FP&A Masterclass and 8 weeks FP&A Launchpad, in which we will go in a lot of depth. And then there are 5 or 6 new modules which are not a part of FP&A Masterclass. Yes, so that was another FAQ. Anything else that you want to cover, Dhaval, or we can then take questions from the audience?
Yeah. So, before you type in your questions or you raise your hand for further questions, what we suggest you to do right now is download the brochure for the CGFPA program, go through it, go through it in detail. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Asif and I are always available on LinkedIn, so you can DM us with any questions that you might have. And submit your applications before 15th of May 2024. So this is very, very critical. Okay, and make sure that because there are certain early bird promotions and all that we are running. So it's important that you submit your applications before 15th May 2024. No, that will also help you determine your eligibility. So we're not accepting anybody and everybody. So it has to go through an evaluation process. Okay, and at times we may also come back and ask you for your certificate copies and all. So please submit your application process. It takes time, and then we will evaluate and then get back to you with the next steps.
What I'll do is I'll put in the chat box two links. One is the application form link, and other is the brochure. So you could go through both, and then yeah, once you go through the brochure, you can then decide based on the brochure and the information session that we had today, if this is the right program for you, and if you feel that this is the right program, then feel free and go ahead and apply for it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Any other questions, thoughts?
one thing I wanted to cover is who should not take this program. So if you are appearing for any other examination right now, like a CMA or a CA exam, which is coming in the next few months, then you should not be doing this at this point. Maybe you should join one of the future batches, because we don't want you to get distracted from your any of your present examinations that you're giving, and we don't want I mean your focus to get divided, and you don't pay attention here also, and you don't pay attention there, and eventually you miss both if you get into both together. Yeah, though, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, go ahead. There's
Cool. Happy to
a
take any
raised hand.
questions.
There's a
Yes,
raised
Pratik,
hand.
go on.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pratik.
I have some set of question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Pratik, go on.
So basically, just like you already know that I'm working in Dubai. So basically, so what happened actually, whenever we give some entry for FP&A, so right now I'm working with the MNC. So MNC P&L is a very huge line item. So there are the 2 and 3 guys who's handling the different cost line items, right? So everybody doesn't have a visibility for total P&L and experience. So my question is just like even recently I was doing the one financial modeling program from Udemy. So in the end, actually, what is happening? Their balance sheet has been matched. So something is behind the double entry system.
Okay.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear you.
So would you also explain how the double entry system is working behind it? And if I'm putting some number in PNL, how it is reflecting to my cash flow and how it is reflecting to my balance sheet? How it is actually linking, working between three statements?
So, so you mean the three statement financial model is what you mean, or you mean the accounting explanation of that?
No, the three main statements, just like PNL, cash flow, and balance sheet. So one
Yeah, so
entry impacting to all
Yeah.
of
So
them.
if you are looking at projected financial statement, that is projected P&L, projected balance sheet, those aspects will be covered in the program. Right? But if you're asking how accounting entry is done or a trial balance to a financial statement flow, that I think is part of any other accounting qualification which you should have already done by now.
Okay.
but it is a
And
genuine. I mean, if that is a problem that we can figure out. I mean, if it's a common problem for a lot of people, and we can have separate solutions for it, but it's not a part of CGFPA, the
because
accounting.
at the learning time, what
Yeah.
happened, just like mainly the institute which I seen, they took the data from some website or some different
Mhm.
areas. So they build up projected financial model over there. But whenever you're working in any industry, you have to build the financial model through from the trial balance. So that is actually the problem over there.
Understood. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
the
see,
second,
sorry, I'll just add one point to that. See, one of the basic differences about just looking at a financial model as an external party for any organization and working in FP&A is that in FP&A, you are part of the organization. You already have full information. You already have internal information which you can ask to the other business teams or other professionals or other team members in your company as well. So FP&A is beyond financial modeling. It's beyond accounting entries. So it's just model is just one small part of FP&A, right? So that's what everybody needs to understand. When we are looking at FP&A roles, it's not just that you'll only be preparing budget or you'll only be preparing projected financial statement. There are a ton of things that you'll be doing. Imagine, can we keep preparing budgets and forecasts for the full year? right? That's not possible. So there are a host of things that FP&A professionals do, right? Which one also needs to be exposed to.
Yes. However, to your point, Pratik, we understand if there is a challenge understanding the accounting treatment or how trial balance is converted into a P&L or how it is converted into a balance sheet. If that is going to be a question from, say, 10 people out of the 30 people in CGFP, we'll definitely consider that as a separate. But we have this as a problem. So thank you for raising it. If not through CGFPA, we'll address it through some other forum for sure.
So financial modeling,
Yes.
just like you are mentioning here, that
Mhm.
core model over there. So basic to advanced.
So is that a question, Pratik, to us?
Yeah, it is a question,
Yes.
just like from
Yes.
basic to advanced.
Yes. So if your question is what is the content of our financial modeling
Yes, sir.
module? So our financial modeling content or the module is starting from three statement financial model. So that is the first thing, along with the basic financial modeling practices. So those two are basics. Those you will be expected to know. So we'll give you, material to be able to pre-read that. And once you come in the class, so the three-statement financial model and the best practices and principles that you use in financial modeling. So that will be the prerequisite, which you will have as a reference material. Once we come in class, we'll be doing advanced topics on financial modeling, including scenario planning, sensitivity analysis, using case studies and examples where we'll create financial models for different use cases, including budgets, forecasts, capital investment decisions. So there will be 7 or 8 different case studies that we will
Feasibility
do.
analysis.
Yes, so there'll be 7 to 8 case studies that we'll do using those principles that you learn in the three-statement financial model and the best practices which we have already covered in the financial modeling program earlier. So you will have that as a reference. Once you refer that, once you are in the same page, we'll do the activity. So the CGFPA module will be more on case studies. So we'll not do theory of best practices again. We'll give you that as a reference material. If you've not done it before, you have to refer it. Spend that 2 hours during the week, and then we do the case studies and that is going to be the approach for all the modules.
Just only one question last. Actually, whenever
Please.
there is actually, I've seen the job description here in Dubai. So they always mention working capital management and free cash flow forecast for 4 weeks. So that
Yeah,
will be
so
also covered.
in the cash flow
Working-
forecast, in the cash
Yes.
flow forecast, we are touching upon working capital management.
Yes, so that is a part of the program.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? I think see another raised hand from Jasdeep. So why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, hi Asif, hi Dhaval.
Hi.
I'm also a qualified chartered accountant with almost 8 years of experience.
Mhm.
And I have been into the FP&A profile since the beginning of my career. The question which I wanted to ask you, as Dhaval, emphasized in the inception of this session, that many of the CFOs, find challenging to find a suitable FP&A candidates in the industry. And at the same time, my question is about what are the skill sets which the CFOs in the industry are expecting from the candidates during the interviews to showcase, and at the same time, what we can express, how we can express ourselves during the interviews to showcase our FP&A skills very clearly, so that we will be able to crack those interviews or the interviews in the bigger corporates like this. Yeah.
Right. I can come in on that, and maybe ask if you can add some points to that as well. So basically, if I'm a CFO, I am looking for hiring an FP&A manager. Let's say that's an example, right? So the first thing that I would look for is basic conceptual understanding of FP&A, that the guy understands what is a gross margin, what is revenue, what is budget, what is forecast, right? So at least these basic terminologies are clear. Okay. The next step that I would evaluate this person on is communication skills, because you will be routinely expected to talk to a sales head or an HR head or some other cross-functional team and collect that data or present data to them as well, right? So the second thing, most important thing, would be communication skills. The third thing that I would probably try and test you on would be your Excel and your, if you have any tools knowledge on like Power BI or Tableau or any of these presentations. So these 2-3 things I would check, but I would say as a weightage, for me personally as a CFO, I would put a lot of weight on communication skills. Processes can be trained, right? But if you are not able to understand the needs of the business side and then tailor your solutions to them, then it becomes difficult as to how you will execute that FP&A role, because you are routinely required to support the business teams with various aspects.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Jasdeep, what has been your background? Like, have you worked in FP&A before and moved out of it, or what's your
No.
background?
So I have been working in the BFSI industry since the beginning of my career. I'm working with the several types of NBFCs and now working in one of the scheduled commercial banks as a FP&A lead only. So
Right.
I mean, like I have been in my like previous organizations, I have been primarily leading the FP&A function, which includes like managing the business modeling, which includes all budgeting and forecasting for
Right.
the, I mean, new verticals which the company is expecting to enter, or maybe the same includes also the like segment-wise profitability, product-wise profitabilities.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's the role which I am performing. I would say from the last 5 years. But at the same time, like whenever I appear for any interview or I look for any change, so sometimes it is difficult to understand that what the CFOs are looking for. Sometimes the results may negative, results doesn't go positive for us, and in those times it is difficult for us to understand that what goes negative in our interview, so that I mean, what's the reason that we couldn't be
Right.
able to
Right.
crack those interviews, right?
Right. So there are two things, right? So one is, when there is no one golden formula to crack an interview. It really
Yeah.
depends on a lot of factors about the company, about who else is competing with you, what has been their experience, and a lot of factors come into play. But generally, I would say that these are some of the top things that uh, CFOs would look for. Especially communication skills, especially things, or how a person is adaptable. I always try and understand, is this person coachable or no? Can I train this person to do what I want them to do? So that is something which I always looked as a CFO. See, the other thing is, from a program perspective, I would say that if you have already done all of that, or if you have fairly been working in the FP&A function, then probably some of the modules would add to your incremental knowledge. Like, for example, the strategy module, the business partnering module, the data analytics module. So these kind of things would probably be adding value to your portfolio if you have not worked on those areas before.
Yeah, that's right. So we have not been into the data analytics yet. So we are primarily using the spreadsheets for making the business models. But yes, like CGFPA program is a really useful program for enhancing like data analytics and some business patterning
Yeah.
programs. Yeah.
I'll tell you one very interesting observation. So some of the alumni who came to us, they had already worked in FP&A. So they had already handled budgeting or some part of budgeting, or then done a lot of analysis. Okay. But they were not able to convince the employer that or convince the interviewer that they had worked in FP&A, because there is no one technical definition of FP&A.
Right.
In FP&A, you can still be in FP&A. You might have done a lot of analysis in your role, but you have never seen a budget. So that is also possible in an FP&A role, right? So what a certification program does is, it gives you that authenticity on your resume that, okay, this person at least understands the whole gamut of FP&A. So that is what we have seen it has done. So people, even in the 4 weeks program that we conduct, okay, we have got a lot of feedback, a lot of examples where our students came back and said that in the very headline I said, certified FP&A masterclass or FP&A masterclass, when they had put this in their resume, it increased their chances of getting that call, or in the interview, at least it piqued curiosity and saying, hey, what is this CGFPA program? And then you can explain to them that, okay, this is a comprehensive program. I've covered this, we have covered this, we have case studies, budgets, this and that across various sectors. That becomes a talking point in your resume where you will sound more convincing that, yes, I know what it is. I may not have worked specifically in, I don't know, FP&A of a retail company, but we have seen the FP&A gamut. We have seen the entire spectrum of FP&A activities in this program. So that's what we are trying to achieve.
Sure. It seems like a really useful program, and I will surely download that brochure and will maybe pursue. I'm going to pursue further. Yeah,
absolutely. So get in touch with us if you have any questions.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ravan.
So I think we are at the end, right? Anything else we want to share, or should we wrap up if there are no questions?
Sorry, Asif, I'm interrupting you. First of all, I'm just saying hi to everyone.
Hi.
So this side, Ashrama, I haven't taken any course from you yet. So will I be eligible to join the CGFA, since you already mentioned that it's a prerequisite that I should have already completed the foundation and masterclass. So I haven't done that yet. So can I join the CGFA?
Let me take that. So see, it's a prerequisite, meaning once you join the program, we will ask you to complete that, and it is not going to be a separate task that we will tell you, okay, you complete this, and then you will be able to join the CGFPA. It will be a part of the 6-month curriculum. So the 2 hours of homework or 2 hours of pre-reading material that we give you, you will have 10 hours of extra pre-reading to do compared to what the alumni have. So to your question, if you meet the eligibility criteria that was shared on the screen, you are eligible for the program. Only thing is that you will have to put 10-12 hours of extra effort while you are in the 6 months program.
Agreed. To match the alumni that I have to cover those things. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not in one go, like it will be fragmented. So in the budgeting module, we will share what we had covered in the budgeting budgeting section during the earlier courses that we have conducted, right? So that's where you can catch up on that recording and then come back to the class so that you are at the same page. So it's not something which will be a deterrent for you. I would say that it will just be like a normal pre-reading material. So if we give a 2-hour pre-reading material this week, somebody who's an alumni might end up spending only half an hour, but you will end up spending 2 hours. So that's how it is going to be.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Any more questions before we wrap up today?
There is one question. What will be the timings for the class?
Yes. So the timings, the live sessions will happen on every Saturday. So every Saturday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. is what you will need to block for the next. Yes, 10 p.m. India Standard Time. So that is what you need to block for the next 6 months, right? So most of the sessions will happen on Saturday, 8 p.m. India IST.
And see, I've also enrolled into a lot of long duration programs. I've at least done like 3 of them, when I was working. I also had this question that will I be able to commit for 2 hours every Saturday for 6 months? But you see, even if you think you will be able to commit for 70% of your time, or at least attend 70% of the classes, you should take that bet. So there'll never be a scenario where you can plan for the next 6 months 100%, right? So if timing is going to be a deterrent, then take this bet, take this chance, because you will definitely see the value later. Okay, fantastic. So that's what we had to cover. Please fill in the application, go through the brochure. If you have any questions, Asif and I are here to answer. And once you're connected with us, you will always be part of our alumni network through some or the other programs, and we will keep interacting on a regular basis.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.